Alrighty, you guys, welcome back to the 1231 podcast. I believe this is episode 18. I may be mistaken, I think, because the Halloween episode was 17. But elephant in the room, I did miss the episode last week. I don't know what happened. Well, I do know what happened, actually. I don't know. It just slipped my mind. I usually record these things on Thursdays, and it was Thursday night, and it just literally slipped my mind, and I probably stayed up watching shows or playing video games or something, but it slipped my mind, and I forgot to do it, so that's my bad. I'm sorry to everybody. But yeah, there should be 18 or 17. No, 18 or I don't know which episode this would be. But yeah, I missed last week's episode, so that's my bad. But I did have topics I was going to talk about last week, but I'll just talk about them this week. So it'll save me a week of coming up with material for this or whatever. But yeah, I'm recording this on Tuesday this week, so I am prepared. I was going to leave it for Thursday, but I was like, I might as well do it today. I'm not doing much today, so I'm off Tuesday and Thursday this week. I have been off for like the past couple weeks, actually, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's just what they've been scheduling me off. But yeah, I saw, jumping into the podcast, I saw Venom: The Last Dance. Unfortunately, I saw Venom: The Last Dance. That was one of the most horrible movies I've ever seen. There's honestly no redeeming qualities for that movie at all. At all, dude. The Venom shtick that he's like a dummy, like the symbiote that talks. It's just so over by now for me. And I've seen all 3 Venom movies, believe it or not. I have seen. What is that shadow? You see that? What the hell, boy? Oh, I think that's the studio light. Never mind. So, yeah, I have seen all 3 Venoms. I saw the first one, I saw Let There Be Carnage, and I saw The Last Dance. The first 2 I did see with buddies. The first one I saw with 2 friends, and then the second one I saw with my brother and her friend. Actually, like 3 of our friends, actually. But this one I saw alone. I saw on like a Tuesday that I didn't work. I think it was last week or last week that I saw the film. It was... Okay, so... all Venom movies have been like mid at best. The first one was obviously the best one, but being the best out of the Venom movies is like such a small achievement. They're just so lackluster. They're so I just don't know. Tom Hardy is such a good actor. I don't know why he's pinned down to this franchise. Maybe it's in his contract or whatever, but he loves this franchise. And I just feel so bad for the man because he's such a good actor and he's done such a good work. But he's like, oh god, he's like the poster child for this franchise, and I just feel so bad for the man. But yeah, he couldn't even save this movie. It was so bad. The writing is so bad. There's so many things where you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. This is going on. The only thing I really thought could have saved the movie was if they stuck to, because there were so many storylines going on throughout this whole thing. There was the main Venom storyline, there was the Noel storyline, there was the family storyline that came in, and then there was the military storyline coming in, and there was the storyline about the chief or something that supposedly died in the last movie, which I completely forgot about. There was trying to set up some shit for the next Venom movie, because who the fuck knows where this shit is going. But yeah, they were trying to set up so much shit, and it just fell so flat, man. The movie was an hour and 46 minutes, I believe, but it felt like 3 hours. It dragged so much, dude. The best part of the movie, honestly, the best part of Venom: The Last Dance was the ending, because I got to walk the fuck out. It was so horrible. I wanted to leave the entire time. And I think there was a gay couple, an old gay couple right next to me, like a couple seats down. Because as soon as I got there, they were the only 2 in my row, and I got there like maybe a couple minutes late, but the movie hadn't started yet. And I'm walking to my seat, and they're in the way, like they have the recliners up, And I don't know what I was feeling off that day, but I just like stood there and like kept trying to get past them, even though they hadn't moved their feet. Yeah, I felt so bad, but like in my conscience, I was like, "What am I doing?" But I can't back out now because I'm already there. So I just stood there waiting for them. But yeah, they moved, and then the only reason I know they're gay is because it was during the trailers, the previews. I forgot which movie was playing. I think it was the Formula One movie with Brad Pitt. One of them said, "I'd let you fuck him," or something like that. And they were like, "Oh yeah, he's hot." But anyways, off track. Actually, let me plug in my laptop. Hopefully my camera doesn't fall. Fuck. It's gonna fall. It's gonna fall. And then I'm gonna have to set it back up. Give me 1 second. There we go. You heard that shit. But yeah. So, the movie was so lackluster. I thank God I didn't pay for it. It was with the AMC Stubs list or the A list or whatever the fuck it's called. Thank God I did not pay for that goddamn movie. But yeah, it was so lackluster. And honestly, I'd give it like there's really no redeeming qualities. I've never rewatched any of the Venom movies. That's the thing. I know a movie's bad when I don't rewatch it because I love rewatching shit. I'll rewatch anything, honestly, but God, it has to be a horrible movie for me not to rewatch it. That's been the thing with most of the new Marvel movies. I never rewatched any of them. I did see most of them, but I did not rewatch them. That was horrible. I'd give it maybe a 0.5 out of 10. I do not recommend that movie at all. I feel so bad for Tom Hardy, but do not waste your money and go see that movie. I have no idea who's a fan of this franchise. I don't know who's keeping this franchise alive, honestly. The fact that they got 3 movies in this climate is insane, bro. It's so crazy that they got 3 movies out. But yeah, that's my review of Venom. There's really not much to say. Oh yeah, the only redeeming quality I thought, or what would have kind of made the movie a little better, was there was this family of kind of like hipster conspiracy theorist in the movie, and I feel like if they would have had Eddie sticking with them for like at least a part of the film longer than they were, it would have been way funnier to have them like clashing. And yeah, they had the funniest bits. The family, they had like some funny stuff going on, but yeah, that was like the only part that I kind of liked. But yeah, the whole movie was just outrageously bad. And yeah, rest in peace that franchise. There was also like a song montage. Oh my god, it was so crazy. They had a montage with this what is that movie even? What's that song even called? It's the Maroon 5 song. It's like, "Cheers to the ones that we lost." I forgot. Oh, Memories? I think that's what it's called. They had that song playing, and then they just had like a montage of fucking Venom moments from the past 3 films. And I'm watching it because it's from the first 2 films at first, or like from the first movie at first, which came out 2018 or something. It came out like in the movie. In the montage, it's coming out, and then some parts started coming up from the movie that I just watched. I'm like, bro, that just fucking happened. Why are you playing that in the montage? I know that shit just happened. That's so stupid. But yeah, that was insanely. God, that's so. It pains me to fucking know that series happened with Tom Hardy, because he could have been used for way better. But anyways, moving on from that film, there was a few previews that I saw before the movie that I didn't even know these movies were happening. Actually, let's talk about Sony. Kraven the Hunter's coming out in December, I believe, which is in a month. Who knows how that movie's gonna go? How the fuck do these actors and do these studios get these top-notch actors like Aaron Taylor Johnson and fucking Tom Hardy, and no, not fucking Jared Leto or Bad Bunny, but how do they get those motherfuckers to be the leads for these movies, bro? It's so insane to me how these actors don't know these movies are gonna be bad, and if they're only doing it for the money, or if they're just doing it because the they're convinced by the fucking studios that this movie is gonna be good, but Kraven the Hunter is gonna flop so bad. Sony should just give the fucking rights up. It's getting so bad at this point. Just flop after flop after flop after flop after flop, dude. It's been since 2018 that Sony has made a decent movie with the first Venom. The only franchise they got going on is the fucking Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse animated fucking film franchise that they're pushing back because they can't even fucking run their animators and their fucking projects good enough because they're overworking them, dude. And then with the strikes and everything going on, I wouldn't be surprised if that fucking franchise got tanked and just said we're not coming out with the next movie. I would feel so shitty because I love the animated franchise. I love Miles Morales in that franchise. But yeah, sorry, my armpit's itchy. But yeah, that fucking Sony is so unbearably embarrassing, dude. It's so embarrassing. They had first Venom came out. Okay, whatever. It was alright. The second Venom came out. Let There Be Carnage. Bad. Fucking Morbius came out. Bad. Madam Web. Bad. Venom The Last Dance. Bad. And now fucking Kraven, which is gonna be even worse, dude. Hardly anybody even knows who Kraven is if you don't fucking know comics, you know, or like even know a bit of Spider-Man. Like Kraven is not a fucking well-known a well-known villain to have his own fucking movie, just like the Joker did with fucking Joaquin Phoenix, who made $1 billion on their first try on their first movie, and now they're coming out with Kraven, which barely any people know. It's so not like the fucking comics. It's not a good portrayal at all. This guy is all militaried out, which it can be good because we just saw from the Spider-Man 2 game that he can be militarized a bit, but he still has to be this fucking huge 6'8" fucking big ass puff of a lion fucking skin on him. And yeah, it can be good, but it looks so bad. They're changing up the Rhino as well. Rhino is supposed to be a fucking big ass Russian dude in a fucking Rhino costume. He's not supposed to be a fucking mutant that turns into a fucking Rhino, dude. God, this franchise, this Sony pisses me off so much because Disney could be doing so much with the fucking Spider-Man rights and they just can't. And obviously, I don't even trust Disney at this point. They should just give it to a third party or just have the rights for anybody for like, because Spider-Man has so many different stories. He has so many different iterations, man. There's not just Peter Parker. There's so many different variants of Spider-Man. And if the rights were just given or were just played out differently, it could just be such a good project. Look what they did with the fucking Spider-Verse movies. Oh my, it could have been so good. They're coming out with the Spider-Man Noir series as well. I don't know if I talked about that, but that looks, I don't know. Everything, I don't trust anything that comes out on Amazon Prime, honestly. The only thing I've ever watched on there is The Boys. Ever since I watched that Roadhouse movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, that shit was garbage. And God, I'm fed up. Whatever. Let's just move on. Yeah, I was gonna talk about those trailers and previews that I saw before the Venom movie. God, rest its soul. I'm gonna dance on Sony's grave once they fucking lose those rights. I'm being honest, dude. Disney should just give them fucking 40, 50, $100 billion to buy it, bro. It would be. Sony, they're such morons, dude. I'm sorry, I'm burping and shit. I ate like $1 pizza an hour ago, and I guess it's making me. I'm sleepy as well. Oh my fucking God, I forgot Toby was in my room, and I just saw that motherfucker walk by. Toby, come here. Come here. Maybe he could be on camera. Come over here. Over here. Can you see him? Oh, you can see his head. Oh, good boy. Come here. Sit. Good boy. That's a good boy. Can you see him? Good boy. Can you see him? Toby was born actually when we saw the first. Were you alive yet when we saw? Sorry, I know you can't hear me. I think Toby was alive when we saw the first Venom movie. It's 2018. You should have been alive, right? It was like in October, I think the first one came out. But okay, I'll pet you, dude. Do your dogs also do this? Toby does this thing where, let's say you're sitting down or you're on the bed, he sees your hand and he just rubs his snout against it, or like his head, so it picks your hand up and you just start petting him, dude. Look, if I leave my hand right here, never mind, he gave up. Hey, let me see. Is he gonna move his hand? Nope, he's leaving. Anyways, yeah. So let's get into the previews. Finally, we're halfway through this fucking episode. Yeah. So the first preview I saw that was actually, it reminded me at first. The beginning was just like, I've watched a lot of Modern Family, like I said, but there's this one movie that I saw. The beginning of this fucking preview reminded me so much of Phil Dunphy. This movie is called Love Hurts. It comes out with Ki Hugh Huang or something like that. Sorry if I butchered his name. I cannot remember his name. But yeah, it was the guy that came out in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and also in the Loki series. He's the main lead, and he plays a realtor at the very beginning of this preview. And it's such fucking, that's Phil Dunphy, man. He's playing it such like Phil Dunphy. But anyways, so this movie ends up being like a action comedy, and it reminds me so much of those like action comedies that like Jackie Chan used to do. It made me reminisce, and it made me like think about my dad, because he used to make us, but he used to show us those movies, and we would watch them with him, and they were honestly really good. Jackie Chan is a really good actor, and his stunts are insane. But yeah, it just reminded me so much of him. And yeah, I honestly might see that movie with him. But yeah, one thing I want to say about trailers nowadays is they have been giving up the whole fucking movie. These trailers are now like 3 minutes long, and all of it is fucking dialogue about the main plot of the story, taking away like plot points, taking away jokes, taking away fucking twists and turns. Like, it's giving away in this movie fucking that his brother's like the main villain, and like it's giving up like the ending fight and things like that. It's just like, bro, what the fuck ever? What happened, man? Like, movies in the past 2 to 3 years have been giving away the entire fucking plot inside of the trailer, and it's so horrible. It's like, why even go watch the movie? But yeah, this movie looks decent. It had some good jokes. It had some good action. It's called Love Hurts. I don't know when it comes out, but he even said like the title of the movie in the fucking trailer. It's just like what happened into the Across the Spider-Verse, where in the trailer Miles Morales even says, "Nah, I'm gonna do my own thing." It's like, bruh, that's the main fucking line of the movie, and you're putting it in the trailer. God, fuck you, Sony. Anyways, but the next movie that I saw the trailer for was called One of Them Days. It's starring Keke Palmer and SZA. I don't know if she's ever acted before, but she's one of the main leads in this movie. And it also has Cat Williams playing a small role, which is pretty funny. Haven't seen Cat Williams on the big screen in a while, but yeah, I love Cat. Cat Williams is awesome. Yeah, this movie is about like two friends that I believe live together, and they have to come up with their rent money by the end of the day, and they're doing a bunch of outlandish things. And this movie unfortunately suffers from that same problem I just talked about, where they're giving away like the entire plot of the movie. In this trailer, they're giving away like 4 or 5 different things that they're doing that they should have left for the film, but they're giving away what they're doing to get the money. And it's just like, you could have left this out. I feel like they should just leave a lot of these things out, man. Like, there has to be a different way to cut these trailers. Whoever's cutting these trailers nowadays they're not doing the films any justice. They're not doing them any favors. If they're worried about because I know this generation is cooked. I know like that the attention span of a lot of this of a lot of people nowadays is like so short that they need like quick comedy, they need quick cuts, they need a bunch of things in these trailers, and like it's hard to make a trailer that like doesn't have a cut every 3 seconds or something like that, because people are gonna click off or they're just not gonna be interested. But you gotta ignore that, man. You just gotta make something good. You can't make something that favors a certain audience, you know. You just gotta make something that is good in its own right, no matter who looks at it, you know. You can't be, that's not like the greatest things or the greatest films or the greatest anything in the world is not great because it favored to one audience. It's great because everybody can see how great it is, you know. And I feel like if nowadays everybody's trying to do the same thing, nothing is going to come out that stands out or is great or is one of the greats. So yeah, trailers need to stop doing that. Studios need to stop doing that nowadays. It's such a horrible idea, and I don't know. It's so bad. But anyways, let's see, what else do I have in my notes? I got some Spider-Man slippers, actually. I'll put a picture right there for a couple seconds. I bought them. I ordered them and they came in a couple weeks ago. I just had this in my notes and I never showed you guys. But also Spider-Man related, I came up with an idea for a short film a while back. Actually a while back. It's been like 2 years probably, or maybe a year and a half. Nah, I think 2 years. I mentioned this in a podcast a couple weeks ago, but I'm gonna share it with you guys this podcast because honestly, I think I'm out of notes. But so I had a short film idea for a Spider-Man movie. Not really a nailed down full script, just like little bullet points, little ideas for the film. The first idea was I had a scene in mind of him, like Spider-Man Peter Parker biking to work and biking to school. And in this film I was gonna have myself play Peter Parker just because that's how I don't know how to explain it. I just wanted to make a short film myself and do it all myself. So I was gonna write it, I was gonna play in it, I was gonna star in it, and I was gonna make the music. And so in this first scene I have him biking to school. He's late, and then the teacher, when he gets there, he sits down, he's late, and then the teacher is on him about like being responsible and things like that. And it's that in that way the very first scene is showing that like he's not responsible yet, and he needs to learn responsibility. Obviously would have written it better. That's just like an off the head thing that I never wrote down. I just always kept it in my head. And then I have another scene where it's kind of in this movie, instead of his parents dying, Ben Parker and May Parker found Peter Parker, or he wasn't named Peter Parker when they found him, but they found him on their doorstep instead of them getting him from Ben's brother, from Peter Parker's dad, Richard Parker, I think. Instead of them getting him from them, and because they died, they just found Peter on their doorstep and they just adopted him. So he grew up with Ben and May, and he got his name from them. So they're really his parents. He doesn't call them uncle or aunt. He just calls them mom and dad. But that doesn't mean he doesn't know any pain or anything like that, because I was gonna have I'll call him Uncle Ben, but in the movie he wasn't gonna be an uncle. In the film it was kind of gonna play out the way that Andrew Garfield's Uncle Ben died. In this part, Uncle Ben was gonna have to work a night shift, and he needed an extra hand, and he had just had an argument with Peter, and he asked Peter to come help him on his night shift. But Peter is rebelling and he says no. He's like, I got better stuff to do. and this is after he already got bit by the spider. So he regrets not going with Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben has already walked off to his shift. He walks all the way to the metro to go to take a train to his job. And in this part, Uncle Ben left and Peter follows him like a couple minutes later. And up ahead, he hears the commotion in an alleyway, and he goes up there. It's kind of. I'm just realizing it right now. It's kind of like what Batman did. It's kind of going to end up like Batman, because Uncle Ben ends up dying inside of an alleyway. But he sees another part of this movie. Sorry, I'm going so much. So I set up Uncle Ben. Peter Parker's following Uncle Ben because he has a late night shift and he wants Peter to follow. He wanted Peter to help him out. Peter says no, but then he follows him. And then also at the beginning of the movie, you're going to see this kid. The main villain of this movie was going to be Shocker. Shocker was going to have a son. The main Shocker was going to have a son. Actually, no, I don't think Shocker was going to be... The dad was going to be Shocker, but... So this is the kid that ends up being the Shocker that was in Peter's classroom. He's Peter's classmate, and his dad is a criminal that he takes his son on to do these crimes because he's like toughening him up, and this is a life that he lives. You know, he steals just to make money, you know. And it was going to be Shocker's dad that ends up trying to mug Uncle Ben, and Uncle Ben fights back, and then eventually Shocker's dad is going to shoot Uncle Ben, and Peter hears this and he runs because he hears Uncle Ben scream, and he gets there and he sees Shocker's dad and Shocker, which is, he's a kid at the time. He's not Shocker yet, he's just a kid. But he sees Shocker with the gun, and he sees Uncle Ben on the floor. Peter grabs Shocker's dad's arm that has the gun, and he starts fucking pummeling at him. He's filled up with rage, and I filmed a little short scene of this. I'm going to describe it right now and then I'll show you. But it was Peter confronting the guy that just shot Uncle Ben. I'll play it now. And we're back. So in that scene, you see Peter beating him up. He just got his power, so he has this new strength, and he ends up killing the guy. That's why he starts looking at his hands afterwards, shaking, because he realized he has this much power and this much strength, and he couldn't control it, and he ended up killing the guy. And that is where, because in the Spider-Man mythos, it's really just like Spider-Man doesn't kill because he's a nice guy. He's a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That's not what he does. He stops bad guys. He puts them in jail. But there's never really a true reason, just like in Batman, that Batman doesn't kill because of his parents, because he saw his parents get killed and he doesn't want anybody else's fate or any other kid to live through that. But Spider-Man never really had a true reason to not kill. So I wanted Peter to have a reason not to kill, and it was because he took somebody's life the first fight he ever had, and he realized his power and he wanted to use it for good. But on the other side of this coin is the kid's dad, is Shocker. His dad has just died, and he sees this and he wants to take vengeance. And he sees that this world is cruel, and he sticks to the life of crime. So you see where their two paths diverge, and Peter takes his path of a hero, and Shocker takes his path of a villain. And that was going to be the main plot of the film. They were going to confront each other, and Shocker was going to be like, you killed my dad, and Peter was gonna be like, I didn't mean to, you don't have to do this, people change and things like that. But yeah, that was the main plot of the film. And I made a few music parts for it in the short little clip that I showed you. I made that on my phone on GarageBand with like it was a stringed instrument, and it just sounded like an 80s horror film, and it sounded so dope. And then I also created the theme for Shocker. I'll play it in the background right now. It's like really techno. It's like really, and then I created a bunch of other. I was trying to create like little themes for like heroic themes. It's really hard. I was trying to on GarageBand, but it was really difficult. I'll maybe play one, and that's what you'll be listening to right now. But yeah, that was my Spider-Man idea. It probably would have been horrible, but it was my first time like trying to write something that I thought could be decent, because there's a lot of things that are really bad nowadays, and I don't know. Let me know what you think about the plot of the film. If you thought it was redundant or garbage, thanks. If you thought it was cool, thanks. If you liked that little clip that I showed, if you liked my acting and you thought it was cool, thank you. But also there was a part in that short film, in the short clip, where I had the glasses on the floor. I tried to I was like inspired by like, I was in 2022 I believe, and I tried to do it just like in the Batman. Remember in the first scene where Riddler kills Mayor Coulson? No, Mayor, I forgot the mayor's name, or yeah, but he kills him, and then the carpet tool that the Riddler used to kill the mayor, it falls, and it's like everything else is out of focus, but you see the tool, and that's how I did it with the glasses. So yeah, I'm gonna call it, you guys. We're at the 31-minute mark, probably a little more for you guys because you saw the clip and everything, but I'm gonna call it. If you haven't checked out my That's Life cover, I'll put a picture right here. It's one of the best covers I've ever done. I am super proud of it. If you want to check out any of my links, check them out in the description below, or on my Instagram or on my TikTok. Go look at my TikTok, Jairo Levy, with 2 I's at the end, JAIROLEVII. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope to see you guys next week. Please like, comment, share. You know, it means a lot. And I'm sorry for missing last week's episode, but I'll try not to do that again. And yeah, I hope you guys have a nice night or a good rest of your day whenever you guys are watching this, and peace.